Phantasy Star Online 2 is an open world MMORPG that came out recently, and it is quite fun. It is a free-to-play MMORPG that does have a subscription service. However, that doesn't really the benefits aren't that large. I'm a complete free-to-play, and I have been enjoying my time very much. So, what is this game like? Well, first of all, it's called Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. New Genesis is the expansion. It's pretty much a new game. It's a whole new world, and but it does branch off of Phantasy Star Online 2, which is already a pre-established 8-year-old game that had a global launch last year on Steam. Phantasy Star Online 2 is a pretty dated game. And what New Genesis is trying to do is take this game and do what Monster Hunter World did for Monster Hunter. There's a lot of similarities here. The previous Phantasy Star had basically a lot of confined spaces. You launch a mission, you go in there. New Genesis is a open world. That's what they're trying to do. And you kind of just go around doing stuff. Of course, it's a MMO and you'll get drip-fed content. There isn't too much out right now, but if you follow along, I'm sure that it'll be a fun journey and it'll be worth it. That's how these games go. You can't really judge it completely yet because you don't know what steps they might take. But if you've never had an experience playing an MMO before, this is a good place to start. So, New Genesis. The combat is very flashy. It is similar to Devil May Cry's combat, where just a bunch of air slashes, flipping everywhere, shooting stuff. Great stuff there. That looks pretty fun. And if you're not enjoying like the lock-on cam that MMOs typically have, there's also a over-the-shoulder third-person shooter cam, which you can press Z on the keyboard to enter that mode. As far as class diversities go, there is the melee classes, the ranger classes, and the magic classes, all of which have a place. Like the magic classes have more stun potential, and the ranger classes have debuffs, and then the melee classes have more defensive potential to tank and parry, and all that cool stuff. And it's pretty fun to be able to min-max things and craft these builds to just output maximum damage. There is a campaign right now that goes up to... It's a few missions, but they're fine. The story isn't anything to write home about, but I'm sure that as you follow along, there might be good stuff somewhere. But there's not a lot right now. So, yep, you take what you get. But I'm just overall, I think that you can dump a lot of time into this game. Augmenting your weapons, perfecting your build, kind of getting your playstyle there, figuring out what you want to do, like how do you want to play. There's main classes and subclasses that you can choose. So, like, one of my characters is a main class Force, which is a magic class, and a subclass Hunter, so I can be waving my wand around, burning things, freezing things, exploiting their elemental weaknesses. And then, if I felt like it, just grab a sword or a spear and start slashing around. Very fun stuff. A lot of build diversity there, and I can also choose Fighter as my subclass, and Fighter has intrinsic bonuses that when boss enemies are down, they take more damage and you get more PP, which is like the magic energy system that you have here. You get more recovery on that. Super great stuff. You can play with a lot of different elements here, and yeah, that's just the fun of these MMORPGs. So, finally, the fashion. Yes, there is a fashion game here. And the fashion game here is where the paying part kind of comes in. Scratch tickets, which is a gacha system to give you interesting cosmetics and things. But there is not really a pay to win, which is great. It's more or less grind to win, which is something refreshing in a free-to-play game. Oh, by the way, the game is entirely PvE. There's no PvP, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, there's just a lot of great stuff. Go out there in the wild, hunt stuff with your friends, and explore this world. Do its daily quests, grind up your gear to the best that they can be. It's a great game for all of that. And I think for newcomers to MMORPGs, or someone who just wants to get into an MMORPG but hasn't quite found one that's stuck or thinks that they've been behind on the loop, this is just starting up. I recommend getting into this. So yeah, those are my first impressions on this game. Let me know how you feel about the game, and yeah, I'll see you next time.